38 years in the making. The voice of the Oregon Ducks, an iconic voice in the state of Oregon. Mr. Jerry Allen, the play-by-play man for the Oregon Ducks, is joining us here on Chainsaw Crew. Jerry, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule this football season to come say hello to us and talk a little Duck and Beaver football. How you doing this evening, man?
I'm doing great. It's Civil War week. This is kind of one of those weeks that every year for a long time we've kind of always looked forward to. And I know it's different now, but I know we don't call it the Civil War. It's still the Civil War.
Yeah, I think a lot of both sides of the fan base still agree. We're all calling it the Civil War. No one's
Yeah.
really changed that at all. But yeah, but this is a big deal for us, and you're a big voice in college football. And you've been around it for so long. What has it been like to seeing the Oregon Duck football program grow since you've stepped in the booth? I mean, I think you've only seen four losing seasons as a play-by-play man.
It's been a little bit unreal. When I got here, Oregon was, one of those teams out west that nobody knew about. You could travel anywhere in the United States and never see a Duck hat, a Duck shirt, Beaver hat. Nobody know. Nobody. I mean, we were sort of that school or that team that you put on your schedule early in the season to kind of romp over and give the payoff check to. And so we were just enjoying life. I got an 87, Bill Musgrave's first year. And from then on, it just kind of got snowballing and rolling. And yeah, and it takes, guys, I really believe it takes a little bit of luck, bouncing the ball, things to go right for you to get that momentum going. And Oregon's been fortunate enough to have that in the last 38 years for me.
Yeah, we talk about 38 years, and that comes with a bunch of different coaches. But right now, what we're seeing with Dan Lanning and this program, it's a freight train. It seems like people don't want to run into. What have you seen that Dan's done that's been so impressive with this culture down in Oregon?
Well, to be honest with you, it kind of probably started with Mario Cristobal in the recruiting. I mean, he started getting some big bodies in here, the 4 stars and a few 5 stars. It started into that, and then Dan Lanning just took it to a whole new level. You can even go back to Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly and Mike Bellotti sort of put Oregon on the map with that fast-paced offense, the tempo, and then kids around the nation started hearing about Oregon and that style of offense and the success they were having, and then to Mark Helfrich and then to Cristobal or to Chip. It sort of grew on itself. And Lanning, I mean, coming from a national champion in Georgia as a defensive coordinator, and Georgia was known for their defenses, was a feather in Oregon's hat. Its first head coaching job, maybe a little bit of a gamble. I don't know what the thought process was in giving that guy's first job, but he is different. I mean, I've been around a lot of coaches, talked to a lot of coaches, a lot of schools. He just has I don't know. You talk about athletes having that it factor. What is it that, the intangibles that make them great? That's what Dan Lanning has. He's just sees the field, sees practice, sees the game differently than most people do. And it's hard to explain what he has, but what he has is been able to bring in the coaches that share that vision and then get the athletes in that want to be a part of that. So it's hard to explain what Dan Lanning is, but he's pretty special.
And he's a great motivator. And we see a ton of social media clips of him getting his team riled up and ready to go. We recently just the Oklahoma State stuff with Mike Gundy. And I don't even think what Mike Gundy said was too out of the ordinary. But you know what? If you take any type of motivation, just twist it or up and get the guys ready to go. We see Kirby Smart do that at Georgia all the time. And he's saying, oh, people said we're going to go 5-7. It's like, Kirby, no one said that. But it's just getting your guys to buy in like that. And Dan Lanning does an incredible job of that. And even as an Oregon State fan base, a lot of us see it. And we see a great culture down there. I remember the first week of the season against Montana State. You have a true freshman receiver blocking a guy through the end zone down to the ground, and they're more excited about the block than the score. And that's how you know you're building something special at a place like Oregon. And they've had a lot of impressive teams, and Dan does a great job. Now let's talk a little Civil War because this team has a huge advantage this upcoming week. We don't see 35.5 as a spread very often for the Civil War, and it's a little bit of a downer, honestly. And it's been a storied rivalry for so many years. But where do you think this rivalry goes with the changes in college football?
Well, I hope it gets back to equal footing. I think that, we talk about what Oregon has and Dan Lanning, especially as it goes back to recruiting the kids. I mean, you got to get the right kids in and then you coach them up. they were able to get those kids, those 5 stars, 4-star plus, that were ready to play right away. And that's huge. Oregon State got dealt a bad hand when the Pac-12 split apart. And not many conferences can do that and come back bounce in the first or second year. So it'll take time. I mean, I'll go back to 1987. When I got here, Rich Brooks had been here for like 13, 14 years, but they kept giving them an opportunity. And then 94 season, they won it all and go to the Rose Bowl the first time in forever. So I like to see fans give Oregon State a chance to get it back together again. And they will. I mean, all teams, all great teams, will stumble and fall and come down, but all of them seem to come back if they are given time. I think fan support's critical. It's so important that fans, social media age that we're in today, it's too easy to get on your phone and say this about somebody or this about a coach or whatever, and then it just goes from there. It's not right. It's just not right. So I hope that fans and the media too don't pile on, but will give Oregon State, Washington State, the Pac-12 a chance to rebuild and get back to where they were.
Yeah, and especially our fan base right now, with how kicked to the curb we felt a few years ago, I would say about 80% of our fan base doesn't even want to play this game anymore. Especially with the difference we're seeing on the field with the NIL, the conference difference. What would you say your argument is to keep this game going?
Well, I will go back to my days doing high school football. We weren't winning, maybe a state championship every once in a while. We weren't winning national championships. We weren't anything other than just enjoying the kids. It's not the kids. So I would say to fans, you want to win. I get it. And you want to win conference championships and get to the playoffs and all that. That will come. But in the meantime, don't forget that these are some 17, but 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kids who are doing everything they can to win. Don't give up on them. And that's my message. And we went through, I'll tell you what, 1994, Oregon opened 1 and 2, and they were selling Ditch Rich t-shirts in the parking lot. They wanted him gone. He'd been there for 18 years, hadn't really won that much. And so they're selling Ditch Rich t-shirts. Well, they turn it around, end up winning the conference and go to the Rose Bowl that year. So that's what can happen. And that's why you don't give up on a team. You don't give up. And if you're a real fan, you're not giving up. Okay? There are a lot of pretend fans. There are a lot of young people that come along and haven't been there. They're the lean years. And they're looking at the national scope and they've seen all these success and even in state with Oregon. And it kind of hurts, but don't let that take away from just loving to watch these young men do their best to try to win games, not only for themselves, but for the fans.
Josh, I'm going to go a little off script here, but Trent Bray today was asked a pretty tough question about what does this Civil War mean to the players currently? Does it mean the same thing as when Trent was playing back in, the early 2000s? And he kind of, said, yeah, it still means a lot to play a top 10 team, but he didn't really mention how it's like, yeah, this is a big rivalry because of the transfer portal and because of all these things. So where do you stand with that kind of answer with Trent Bray and how the players maybe don't care as much anymore because it's like, well, I'm only here for a year anyway, so like, what do I care about an in-state rivalry? What are your thoughts about that kind of flowing in college football now?
Well, other things you mentioned, the transfer portal, NIL, social media, seeing what else is going on. The Oregon State used to be, I can remember this, guys. You could be 0-7, 0-8, 0-9. You go into the Civil War, you win that game, everything's good.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Finalists won the next year. I mean, it was all about that. So that's what it needs to be. It needs to be the in-state rivalry. But you're right, kids don't have the passion for that in-state rivalry the way they used to, and a lot of it is because there's so much else going on. And Oregon right now is going for a national championship, and they know it. I'm sure they sense that and feel that. They want to be a part of that. Oregon State's down here, and they feel like maybe they can't get there. So I think the difference in the programs right now make it tough for the kids to look at a game like this the way we did 15, 20, 30 years ago.
And you're talking about national championship aspirations. The Ducks have had a lot of good quarterbacks over the years. Now they have Dante Moore step in, a quarterback that Trent Bray is actually familiar with. He's already played in Research Stadium before. He had a tough night as a freshman, and his quarterback coach is now Oregon State's offensive coordinator. So the Oregon State coaching staff is familiar with Dante Moore. He's off to an incredible start with Oregon so far. It's been an interesting story with him coming over there too. What have you seen and heard from him so far this season?
Well, it starts with him being willing to, be a little bit of pro and realize, okay, I chose UCLA. I went there. I was forced to play right away. All the pieces weren't there, and he took some hits. Talking about social media, people were down on him. I mean, he could have gone a lot of different ways, but instead he said, you know what, I'm gonna go back and go to Oregon. I told him I'm gonna go there first, and I didn't. I'm gonna go back and I'm going to sit and learn for a year. He was willing, and I don't know if it was Will Stein who told us this, but I think he said last year, Dante never asked if he was going to get in the game or could start. All he wanted to do was learn so that when this time came, he'd be ready. And that's the kind of kid he is. He prepares, very mild-mannered kid off the field, but just has one of those football IQs and soaks it up. And he's a whole lot different than he was at UCLA because he's got a team around him. It's amazing how these five-star kids look great until they get with a team that doesn't quite have the pieces they had in high school. Some kids adapt to that, some don't. Dante has been able to adapt to that.
Yeah, and when you look at this Oregon team as a whole right now, when you talk national championship, they look like every bit of a national championship team. Offensively, they got running backs that can run the ball. They're physical. You look defensively, this team looks well-rounded. When you look at this team, Jerry, what do you see, what is the identity of this team that makes this team so special right now?
Well, I think the identity is the head coach. I mean, all teams, will, try to head coaches and OCs and DCs want a team to feel and believe the way they do. You got to have that passion. And Dan Lanning obviously has that passion. And the other big key to it is the leaders that he has on the team. I mean, sometimes you want a couple of guys on defense, a couple of guys on offense to be the team leaders, to rally them. When things are tough, they get you together. That liaison between the coaching staff and the team. And Oregon has that this year. Gosh, they've probably got 4 or 5 guys on each side of the ball, and some of them are the freshmen, redshirt freshmen. So I think team leadership is critical for a coaching staff. You've got to have those kids that believe and want to rally people around, and that's a big key for Oregon's success. And they're doing it one game at a time. But don't talk to them about national championship. Don't talk to them about anything other than who is on the docket for this week. And the other thing is, like, respect who your opponent is, but if you don't play your brand of football, play Oregon football. And that's what Dan Lanning preaches. Play Oregon football and let the rest take care of itself.
Yeah, and it's awesome to see as a Beaver fan, at least what Dan's done to this program, what he's brought to the state of Oregon. And growing up in a house divided, that was tough to see sometimes. My dad and his side of the family, Duck fans, and my mom and I were the brave souls that bleed black and orange. So I can appreciate a head coach that comes in and he's taking care of business, and that's what you've seen the last few years. Well, let's just kick over to Saturday in the Civil War. You've seen many Civil Wars. You've called some Civil Wars and some pretty big Civil Wars. Can you just give us an example of maybe your best and worst memory calling a Civil War?
Well, anytime you go into the Civil War and it's a tight game and it's a battle, it's like, your whole season is on the line. Doesn't matter whether you're 9-0 or 1-8 or 1-9. This is the game. And so I think Oregon, gosh, I'm going to say the one game that I won't forget, I wasn't working for Oregon then, was affectionately known as the Toilet Bowl. Okay. 1983, I think it was, 0-0 tie. They played at Autzen Stadium, and it was miserable, wet, cold, and neither football team could do anything. And so after that 0-0 tie, I think both sides were like, let's just go, fix a turkey and have some Thanksgiving gravy and potatoes and forget about football. This was not a good year. And then the other one, I think it was a double overtime game at, I want to say up at what was then Parker Stadium. Ducks were like 8-3, 8-2, had a chance to go to a major bowl. Ken Simonton had different ideas. It was at least one overtime, if not 2 overtimes, and the Beavers won it and took Oregon out of that major bowl. And that hurt. That's a memory that I have that was not a good memory, particularly watching the fans storm the field and tear the goalpost down, which was, Oregon, in my memories, Oregon's only done that one time, and to have the Beavers do that against the Ducks on their home field was loud. you know, great college football, but not if you were a Duck.
We've had plenty of tough days against the Ducks too. I mean, just recently in 2017, I think 69-10, and we might be looking at one of those days this coming up on Saturday. And look, I've only seen my dad cry a handful of times, and I think two of them involved the Civil War. So there could be some more tears of anger and sadness, honestly, from our fan base this weekend. But what are your thoughts to the Saturday's matchup? How does these teams line up against each other?
Well, I mean, obviously Oregon's the heavy favorite in this just because of what they've done the last few years and what they put together early this year and the recruiting and the 4 and 5 stars and all that. But when push comes to shove, I remember App State going into Michigan, got a no chance, no chance. They're going to get embarrassed, and they end up winning that ball game. So anytime you put young people against each other in a game, I don't care what kind of game it is, if you tell them how it's going to turn out, don't need to play it. That's just absurd. So I expect Oregon to do well. They're at home, they're rolling. But these are the kind of games that worry me. These are the ones that Oregon State is not supposed to do well in. And all you need is a turnover, a score, and then you believe. And then they've got D1 athletes. I mean, give me a break. I mean, they got kids that can play football. And if they start believing, and Oregon has a few miscues, you got a game on your hands. So I never expect blowouts. I never expect these games to. I mean, I don't know how many years we went go to Oregon State, Ducks would win, Beavers come down to Oregon, and it'd be the other way around. So, it's going to be a battle. I think fans will be treated to a perfect weather day and enjoy the young men playing the game. I'm excited that the Ducks and Beavers are still playing, and I hope this continues for years to come.
Jerry, just want to say thank you so much. I got one more quick question for you before you take off. If you guys don't follow Jerry on X yet, it's at the Voice of the Ducks. If you have any encouragement or words to give our worried fan base right now, what would that be?
Well, I'd say take any coach in a situation where your conference just got split apart and everything's going against you. And it's going to take time. You just don't put a new engine in a car when it blows up in a week. Okay. It takes time. So I'd say give your coaching staff, give your young men a chance to get it back. It's not going to happen overnight. You can't blow up a conference like that with all the transfer portal and NIL. That's going to affect what you're doing. But if you'll just sit back, enjoy what the kids are doing, give the coaches time to build it. 3 years from now, 4 years from now, then if you want to beef, if things aren't where you want to be, okay, then you can say, okay, it's not going the right direction. Right now, they haven't had time to get it in the right direction.
Jerry, man, you're a legend. You're a great voice in the state of Oregon. The Ducks are lucky to have a play-by-play man like you around to call these football games for them. I hope Duck fans appreciate your work and all your dedication to the program. And we appreciate you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on here, man. Have a great call on Saturday. Hope you don't call too many touchdown Ducks, but it could be the case. Jerry, thank you so much, man.
I appreciate it. Much respect for you guys having me on. That was pretty special.
Yes, sir. We'll
Thanks,
see you in
Jerry.
again. Josh, man, Jerry Allen. I mean, just A1. What a guy, dude. What a legend. And we got Jerry Allen on before we can get Mike Parker on. That's just crazy, dude. And I know Mike's a busy guy. He's got a daily show. He's affiliated with the university. I'm not sure how that lines up, like for him doing a fan podcast or anything like that. But dude, Jerry Allen. Even as a Beaver fan, I think a lot of people like, yeah, boo the Ducks, but like, dude, Jerry is Jerry. Like
That's what I said. Like, he's on my Rushmore. I grew up listening to him so much as a Beaver fan, just because my dad and his whole side of the family are Duck fans and still are Duck fans. That Mike Parker obviously is on that Mount Rushmore also, right? But
100%.
when you have those two guys and you got Jerry Allen, who probably has no idea about this podcast, is willing to come on and talk
Yeah, dude.
football with us, bro. It's just so wild. And it's just so wild that we have any play-by-play guy come on, right? Because I know many years ago when we talked about doing this and we started it, like it was just going to be us just bantering back and forth. But to have these guys come on, especially just Jerry, who's been around this program for 38 freaking years, man.
1987, man.
38 freaking years. Dude bleeds green and yellow. We talk about investment, time, and love for something. That dude embodies it. So absolute killer interview. I'm I don't know if we can top that outside Mike Parker, to be honest.
I mean, dude, when we think about, and this is all on you, Josh. Like you're the ones getting all the guests out here. So like this is everybody give a round of applause to Josh yet again for getting a legend out here. But think about Chainsaw Crew, okay? Just us as a podcast. Let's not talk about the football team for a little bit here. Okay, let's think about who we've had on. We've had Mike Hass on. Okay, I think people forget about that. We've had
No,
guys like Tim Ewis on, who is a Corvallis legend at Liberty Mutual. Hi, I'm Tim Ewis. And now we have Jerry Allen, dude, and we get all these play-by-play guys on, and they're so knowledgeable about the game and about their school. Even being in Lubbock last week, and they unfortunately played Brian Jensen's 3rd and 26 touchdown call over the PA, and my buddy like tapped me, he was like, "That's your boy," and I'm like, "That's pretty cool, dude." Like I was just talking to that guy, last
yeah.
week, and it's just like it's really cool, just for us, just a couple of big football fans to like just to hear these guys talk about their school and like their pride for it. That's what college football is all about. And I think we kind of lose sight of that in this current landscape of things. It sucks what it is right now. And we're going to get into this game. We're going to get into the Civil War. They're obviously going to be ugly. This is not good. It's bad right now. Everything is really, really bad. It's a lot of negative, negative, negative. Bill Orem being more negative, negative, negative. What's his name? Ryan Clark? Is that the other guy who covers the Beavers?
Yeah.
Negative. So, he's such a duck. It's so annoying, dude. I'm tired of those guys. But like what we get to do on this podcast, we're gonna try to keep it positive, and I think we're gonna have a different spin, you and I both, on this current program and where we stand right now. Because look, y'all, look at UCLA, look at Virginia Tech. Do you really want to be firing a coach after 3 games into a season? I think for Virginia Tech's sake, they've had Coach Bry on for a little bit longer, but with UCLA, Deshaun Foster, like, yeah, they were bad last year, and then they're bad to start this year. Okay, you're a year and 3 games into his thing, just like Trent Bray, and he's gone. So now you have to restart, and you're only in September. Is that really the smart thing to do here?
No.
Didn't someone just ask Trent Bray today? Why did you? Wasn't it Bill Orm again? Why did you keep Jamie Christian on your staff after the Fresno State game? And Trent said, "Well, it's dumb to fire a guy after 2 games." Yeah, probably pretty dumb. Now that I think about it, it's like, why, yeah. I mean, how do you adjust to that in the middle of a season? And know people have like, yeah, typically bye week is when you do that. Unfortunately for Oregon State, their bye week is too far into the season. That's when probably we will see Trent Bray probably make some moves at the bye week because by that time this team is probably going to be really really in the dumps. But we'll see, man. It gets easier. It really does lighten up. Josh, okay, can you tell me what Cal's record is right now?
Are they 3-0?
They're 3-0. Do they have
Yeah.
like the best quarterback in the country?
100%. No questions
That kid's
asked.
insane, dude. Okay, all right. Well, Fresno State. What are they? Oh, 2-1. Their one loss is to a solid KU team. Okay, okay. Let's look at Texas Tech. What are they? Oh, 3-0. Even though they played nobody, but they have a big test against Utah. They're ranked 17th. Okay. And let's look at Oregon. What's their record? Oh, yeah. Okay. They've murdered everyone. All right. And then let's look at Houston. Oh, they're also 3-0. They've looked pretty good. These first 5 games all of a sudden got super tough on us. No one really anticipated Cal to be this good. No one anticipated like Texas Tech to really get off to that start. They had some expectations, but they've looked damn near perfect. I mean, Oregon State did a couple of things to throw them off, but this schedule quickly got like, oh, this is a hard first 5 games. All of a sudden, dude. Like, I think we need to just pump the brakes a lot. Actually, I think we need to slam on them. What do you think, Josh?
I think the cool thing about this podcast is one, we're not affiliated with the school. So you have
Say
two
whatever you
people
want.
here. Yeah, we're gonna say how we feel when we feel it, and that's just what it is. Now, are we gonna regret it sometimes? Probably. Okay.
That's fine.
But that's just the part of being a fan. That's a part of I expect anybody to do that, right? Especially with what happened to this program. And it's so hard. It's so hard to remind yourself in the heat of a moment when you're watching some of these games to start the season that Oregon State got the rawest raw end of the deal ever. It's true. So did the Cougs, okay? You wouldn't wish that upon your worst enemy right now, okay?
Well,
I think I think unless you're Oregon. Uh, welcome to Civil War week, everybody. I think it is, and I'm guilty of this, and I'll be the first to admit it. I came hot and heavy for Bray this week. I came hot and heavy for the entire staff. And I remember texting my Aunt Terry, season ticket holder, during the game on Saturday because she turned it off very early. And I didn't watch the second half, I'm gonna be honest. Um, I was just done. It's frustrating to sit and think about this team starting 0-4. But like you said, well, let's put the e-brake on here and let's take a look at the schedule. Holy crap. Well, these first four games, these teams are every bit of legit college football teams right now. And we're talking about college football teams that have the money, the NIL, the donors to go out and put themselves in a situation to be successful. So I'm starting this podcast off with a somewhat of a public apology to Coach Bray. I came heavy for his head on Saturday and I made it very public on social media. And I apologize for that because what's about to happen to Coach Bray, it's about to get spun in a very ugly way by some reporters, local reporters. And I'm sure now that our friend Bill has started this floodgate,
Woo.
everyone's just going to jump on this train. Okay. It's not the way to go about this. And more than anything, Coach Bray doesn't deserve this. He doesn't deserve, and I know no one's going to agree with this because you go
There's
scroll
probably a
through
lot of people
social
being like,
media,
these guys are idiots, dude.
you scroll through social media, and everyone's calling for his head to be on a stake and picketing outside Reeser with it. What he walked into and what he did for this program was unreal. You could probably put five guys in a room, and not a single person outside Coach Bray would have took that job last year or 2 years ago. He would, they wouldn't. You realize what happened with Smith, what Oregon State was looking at, every transfer, every crappy NIL deal they had with anybody. It sucks. It's a cesspool of crap. And for him to say, I'll do it. I love Oregon State. I love this university. I love what this football program is. Who am I to sit here and call for his head? Who am I? I it's ridiculous. So Coach Bray, I'm sorry. I know you're never going to listen to this.
As he shouldn't. He should not.
I hope not. And if you do, I hope you're fueling the boys with the locker room with it.
Yeah, man.
But I'm sorry. And I apologize. And like you said, and we said it many weeks and now, this late schedule coming into September and the many months going forward into October, there's some winnable games here. And you asked me a question on Saturday. We can talk about it a little later on. But if this team does win 6, 7 games, am I okay with Coach Bray bringing around next year? Or maybe we should let's talk about it now. Yeah, yes. I
Yes.
he doesn't deserve what he's getting, nor does he deserve if it ever does happen in the future. He needs time, and
Yep.
time is what people don't want to deal with. We
Nope.
want results now, and we want to see it now.
Yep.
We have to have patience. We have to have faith. And Jerry, my God, dude's talking about it. When a fan base is tearing down a program, who are we to sit here and judge these dudes not giving enough effort every week? I mean, Jerry Allen coming on the pod's great, but when he's sitting here spitting fire like that, it makes you think twice about what you're saying. So, Rob, I give you the floor to give your apology tour to do whatever you need, but
Hey, man.
I'm sorry.
Last week, I kind of stepped on the I don't know if he's the guy kind of speech, but we have to stay in his corner, right? And we knew that game against Tech was probably going to get ugly, right? And it did get ugly quick. I mean, it was just not a very fair matchup. In my opinion, Oregon State probably shouldn't be scheduling these types of NIL schools anymore. And obviously, when we made this schedule, Texas Tech wasn't really spending that kind of money. Cody Campbell wasn't, you know, digging in money and putting his name on the field with his billion-dollar oil company. I mean, these kind of situations are just it's impossible to win. And we're playing money ball over here, dude. And as an A's fan, I can relate to this. Is like our NIL is not good. Okay, albeit we put too much money into a quarterback when we definitely needed money in the line of scrimmage. Okay, there's just a lot of things that we need to clean up. And will an actual general manager with actual football experience help with that? Yes, we should probably get one of those, right? So until we do that, we're going to probably continue this. And again, that's not on Trent Bray. That's on Scott Barnes. That's on your athletic director to get this thing right. But when you look at this matchup last week against Texas Tech, right? In my opinion, man, this game comes down to three plays. Three plays. and they're all forever to get to go. Okay, it was the 1st and 35 play when you're already down 14 nothing. Okay, 14 nothing is not the end of the world. You could still do something with 14 nothing. Okay, Rajon Davis gets torched on like a little Texas route from their running back, and they give up 37 yards on that play. Okay, Skylar Thomas does end up getting the interception on that drive, and it was a fantastic play from Skylar. Just read it perfectly. But then Malik gives it right back to him on a really bad throw off his back leg with no protection, and he's just praying that it doesn't fall into a Texas Tech defender's arms. Okay, all right. Play number 2, 3rd and 26. Tech those that swing screen, and dude, we have guys jogging after the ball carrier, jogging. And Trent Bray mentioned that after the game. It's about effort. Okay, there's our 2 inside linebackers and an outside linebacker are jogging. It's 3 players who were on the same yard line or a yard line behind the guy, and they're jogging. Bench them. Don't ever see the field again. You want to jog on my field? Get off of it. It's that simple. And towards the end of the game, we did see Aiden Sullivan start playing. We saw Goodman was playing a little bit. It's like, okay, let's put the guys in the field who want to be out there, who give a damn. That's start number 1. Okay, that's culture. You need to find your culture. That's what and I mentioned this today on X. These 2 seasons should not have been about winning. And that is our fault as a fan base. We jumped the gun way too quick. We're like, hey, we still have most of the Smith guys. Like, we only lost a handful of them. We can figure this out and win. Oh, this schedule looks pretty easy. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. And we're learning that the hard way. It's about culture. And let's put the guys out there who give 110% every single play. Because right now, I don't see a lot of guys doing that. And on that play that I mentioned, Jaheim Patterson shoves him forward. Doesn't even take him off his line of running. Okay, that's just bad. That's a bad effort play. And then 3rd and 22, another poor effort play. Guys are just falling, trying to do ankle tackles, getting stiff armed, just getting blown off their blocks on the tight end screen. It sucks to watch, man. Being there in person, you're just like, okay, we have them in really good spots here. Okay, 3rd and 26, 3rd and 22 are guaranteed punt or kick a field goal. And it sucks that the boys are just too slow. Okay, there's a talent deficit. The boys are definitely too slow out there. But it's the lack of effort that really just digs at you, man. And again, Malik on his 2nd interception of the game. It looks like, now we can talk about this later, but Trent Walker, man, he's talking about the fans. Okay, on this 2nd interception, Trent Walker, it's like a fake stretch, play action to the right, and then Malik comes back left. It's supposed to be kind of like it looks like Trent's supposed to run a dig, and then he kind of runs a corner. He gets to his dig and then stops, and then he realizes Malik still has the ball, and then he slips trying to get back into the play, and then Malik throws a pick. So did Trent not know the play, or did he give up on it? That's what makes me so mad. It's like we're in the red zone. We had a couple of instances where we had good drives, and it just fell short. It's like the guys are doing some things well. They're not that far off. It's crazy to say. They're really not that far off. You have 3 instances on defense where you have them really backed up. Okay, you get into the red zone a couple of times, and then things just fall apart, and it's just been, a waterfall of just negative. A lot. It's too much of it. What the boys cannot do is they cannot quit on plays. They need to stop quitting during the middle of a play. That's culture, 100%. And I see an offensive line, dude, that plays with no toughness, no grit. Is Coach Kavanaugh?
Brain.
Yeah, is Coach Kavanaugh in and over his head? Because when the stadium was full before the lightning delay, you have 2 full starts. Okay, and Anthony Hankerson is a guy who is very, temper. He's fine. He's very low mannered. He is getting after his guys, dude. So if you're doing that from Hankerson, you piss the kid off, dude. And then, honestly, you catch a break with the lightning delay because everybody left. I think 60% of the stadium came back, and it's quiet in there. The students went home. It's like, okay, this is our chance. Like, you can't blame it on a hostile crowd now. It's just the players on the field. That's it. And they didn't have a false start after that, which is good, I guess. But they let the same interior defensive lineman for Texas Tech beat them time after time after time. 11 carries for Anthony Hankerson. Josh, you know how many yards he had?
Rob, I don't.
11.
That's good, right?
It's 1 yard for every carry. His longest rush of the game was 3 yards.
But we've seen it all year. We've seen an offensive line that couldn't create a lane if water was parting it for them. It's just so frustrating. And we talk about you're coming out on the road, coming out in a hostile environment, and you're telling me in the first series, we're going to come out and look incompetent again. It's just so frustrating. Talk about being penalized. Rob, you want to know what this Oregon Duck team did last week? They threw up a goose egg for penalties, Rob. A goose egg. I just, it's the most frustrating part when I think about this as a whole. Every level of this Oregon State team is so undisciplined, and that has to start with the coaching staff, right? I, or are we just are we talking about a lack of knowledge? It's
It's hard to know. I mean, it's hard to know.
frustrating week after week to come out and watch this. It's honestly like we're watching a high school football team that's maybe a little bit more put together. It's literally what it feels like, and I don't punting the ball like Malik's our best punter all of a sudden. Like what
Dude,
it
that the
that's
the
the I don't
being
understand the special teams going out and we're gonna give Texas Tech plus field possession every time. And then we're like, screw it. We paid Malik $1.5 million. He's gonna go out and he's gonna punt the ball also.
he was the best punter of the
He
day.
was. He was. Have him do that more often. I don't even care. I really don't at this point. But it's just so it sucks. It sucks. And you've been to a game now. I've been to a game now. You can literally see the lack of I don't give a crap on the field. And I think that is the most disheartening part of this. And again, I'm not here to question the hearts of anybody on that team, right? That's not my job. That's Trent Bray's job to question that. But when you are seeing this product that you're given each and every week, you can't shore up, you can't fix a single thing from week 1 to week 2 to week 3, week 4. We're coming out, we're having the same problems. There is a lack of communication, maybe. There's a lack of understanding somewhere. There's a lack of maybe brain cells missing. I don't even know at this point. But we can't do that. We can't. And talk about the defense. Defense actually didn't look terrible. Rob, we got sacks this week.
We got one sack, yeah. And you know what? Hey, dude, in the first half, like little to no pressure. Baron Morton had all day to throw. And it looked
And then
like,
what did Brian tell us last week? You give Baron Morton any time, what's he gonna do?
it's over. Yeah.
It's
He's
done. And that's what he
gonna
did
pick
to
you
you.
apart.
He freaking destroyed you downfield.
Yeah, and two, I think Baron Morton made, two good throws all game. The rest of them, he wasn't really that impressive to me. I think the thing is, like, if you give a quarterback time, they're gonna do that to you. The first touchdown pass over Brad Wally's head wasn't even that bad of coverage. It was just a really good throw. I don't know if he actually completed that catch to the ground, but really good throw. Okay, that was the one good throw out of the two that I saw from him. And then the other one was the other touchdown where Jaleel Tucker's trying to grab him and he couldn't, and he scores anyway. And that's just one of those things where Oregon State literally was not lined up to play. They had a good tackle for a loss by Thomas Collins. Thomas Collins had a great game. Next play, they're not ready to go. They throw it over the top of them. And it's just like, we're a low IQ team. And that's I don't know how you coach a dumb team. I really don't. So it's like there's a lot of that going on right now where, oh, a good thing happens. Cool. Oh, they scored. Like that happens way too often this with this football team right now. And I said it a lot last year. It's kind of my saying that I've become to say too much of, but your problems are your problems at some point. Okay. In football, it's hard to fix things in 1 week in between games. You need a bye week. And we always say, like, your biggest improvement was from game 1 to game 2. Yeah, the Beavers improved a little bit from Cal to Fresno State. A lot of fall off here from Fresno State to Texas Tech. So I think there's a few guys on this roster that I won't name names. Okay, I won't do that, but I don't think they belong on an FBS field, to be honest with you. There's a lot of that going on right now. And I think Trent is going to have to find a good formula of guys who want to give effort, who want to play every down. And I think they might have found maybe a little bit of a better formula to rush the passer because they did force him to do some things quicker, for sure. I think the end of the game, obviously, Texas Tech's playing nobody, but you got a good hit on the quarterback, you get an interception. So again, man, it was 45-0 at one point or whatever, and the game's over and they get 2 touchdowns in the end for garbage time. But dude, when it was 14-0, 21-0, like if a couple of things go the other way, maybe Malik makes that deep throw to David Wells that he missed on, things could be different. I really don't think they're that far off from competing with lower level FBS teams. Right now, Tech is a very good team. They're going to be fighting for a playoff spot. Okay. Same with Oregon. And after that, Houston's probably the best team you face the rest of the year. You got to just hang in there. But what we just talked about with Jerry Allen, and hey, we switched it up this time, guys. We're trying to switch the mojo up. We're starting with the interview, and then we're talking about the game, then we'll talk about the next game, okay? Trying to switch it up because we were asking this team to switch it up, and we got to do the same thing. But going into Oregon, Josh, okay, after everything that we just saw, okay, Trent Bray's presser today was he looked a little bit more fidgety. He's nervous. You're 0-3. It's tough to be a coach in this situation. Again, with the hand he's been dealt. Okay, so how do you motivate this team to show up on a noon kickoff, 80 degrees, September Civil War, the last one you'll play until maybe 2027? How do you do it, Josh? How do you motivate these guys to come out and play hard?
That's the million-dollar question right now, right? I don't know how you motivate. I don't know how you motivate this team right now, and don't know. I, I don't know how you try to find that motivation against this Duck team that looks almost unstoppable right now, and it's a very scary Duck team. And you talk about leadership, talk about coaches, what Oregon's doing right now and what they've done. Granted, it seems like they have a lot of things on their side, right? Money, donors, whatever it is. Still Oregon State. There's some crazy crap that's happened in these games, right? There's been times where Oregon should have won, Oregon State did, vice versa. You're 30, what is it, 35 and a half?
Yeah, it started at like, dude, 26 and it jumped to 35 in like an hour.
You're 35 and a point underdogs right now. You have to find it somewhere. I don't know who lights that fire. If it's Malik, if it's Hank, somebody has to do it. I asked last week, I want it this week. Just come out and prove to me that you want to play football. That's all I want to see. Right? I Malik has no offensive line right now. Hank has no offensive line. You're asking him and Hank to do a lot of stuff right now that they don't have the ability to do because you need an offensive line to protect Malik. You need an offensive line to give Hank a running hole to run through. It's just not there right now. So if I'm anybody, I'm motivating this offensive line to figure it out for the sake of everybody in Corvallis. I what happens after this game, we're really going to see what kind of football team this is because no one is expecting this team to win on Saturday. Not a single soul anywhere. And if there's somebody betting a lot of money on this game to take Oregon State, you might be smart, but don't do it. It's not a great idea. You're going to go soul searching most likely after Houston. What kind of product do we get after Houston? You have a few winnable games in there, right? If I'm Trent Bray right now, I am telling that team, come out, fight this week. Let's come home, fight on Friday against Houston, and then we got some games that we can win. It's just the reality of it. And if they win 1 game, 2 games, 6 games, 7 games, great. And the tone of us and a lot of this fan base will change going on later into the year. And I hope we get that. I hope we don't have to suffer and be miserable the whole year because it sucks. It's no fun sitting here talking about this team sucking. What for you, Rob, do you have to see this week to be like, okay, they figured it out? Because right now we ask that question every week. I'm not getting any answers. Do you feel like you're seeing maybe that bit of improvement that you need to see from week to week right now, 1 through 4?
Yeah, well, when you look at like the Texas Tech game, their defensive line was just so good and they're so big. Every single Tech fan was they were very, most of them were really nice. And they were like, honestly, we've never seen a Texas Tech defensive line like this ever. And I'm like, yeah, it helps when you have Cody Campbell's pockets, it really does. And now you're going into another situation where the defensive line is well paid. And man, and Trent Bray mentioned this, dude. This is the one thing I need to see shored up, really. And my keys to the game are this: shore up the interior offensive line, play with some aggression, man, play with some force. Because right now, I just see guys getting pushed around, and they're just worried about not jumping early for a false start. That's what I see from this offensive line: timid, scared. They don't want to play with any physicality at all, and I hate that word, but they need to be way more physical. They got to push somebody around. And Trent said that too post game. He's like, "Yeah, so what? They're a little bit bigger. At some point, you just got to be better. At some point, you just you got to push some people around." So I need to see a little bit of that. Okay, and you can't run the ball with your best running back 11 times for 11 yards and expect to win any games. That's just not going to happen. And we could see another frustrating day from the running game against Oregon because this front seven is arguably better than Texas Tech's. So we have to see something along those lines. And if you have an issue in offensive line and blocking and creating holes, Coach Gunderson has to mix it up. He's got to start getting the ball out faster, or add a fullback in there to get somebody else to make a hole for you. But do whatever you can to figure out this offensive line, especially on the interior side of it. The other side of this is tackling. The tackling against Texas Tech was bad. It was really bad, and a lot of it's too much ankle tackling. Skylar Thomas is a great player, but man, he goes for the ankles about every time. And he's a big dude. And he had one chance to blow up a receiver over the middle, and he didn't do it. He went for the ankles. And he gets stiff armed a lot. A lot of our guys get stiff armed in the helmet a lot. Just boom, think, see ya, keep on going. And, Cyrad Walleye got ran over at one point. We're trying to go for the ball too much. Let's tackle. Let's just tackle, boys. That's all we got to do. And my last key is keep playing through it. Just keep stay in the fight, boys. I don't care what the scoreboard says. It's going to be tough on Saturday. Okay. Again, we're not really in a situation to compete with these levels of programs right now. Okay. It's just not in the cards. You got to keep playing hard. You got to keep going. Okay. It doesn't matter what the score is. Play hard. It's you have the logo on your chest, the logo on your helmet. It means something to a lot of people to see you still play hard. Okay. And I sat in the Jones AT&T field for every single play. I sat through the lightning delay for 2.5 hours, and I watched every single play. Okay, I've seen worse from Oregon State over my time as a fan, honestly, but you got to play hard the whole game. Just keep going, boys. Don't worry about the outside noise. Don't worry about what people are saying about your head coach. Just play hard. Play hard for yourself and for your fans and for your teammates. Josh, what are your keys to the Civil War on Saturday on the Big Ten Network?
I think I kind of piggyback you here a little bit. First one is just show some mental toughness, right? Coming out another brutal environment, another brutal road game, right? This Oregon team, this Oregon fan base, they hate you, right? There's nothing pleasant about having to go down to Eugene and play football. Show some mental toughness. Come out, show out that, hey, I want to play football this week. I want to come out and prove to this fan base that we can play some competitive football. I don't expect you guys to hang with this football team, right? Or do I? But I want to see some change. I want to see this team come out and just play some football, man. And if Hank, you got to get Hank going somehow, man. And my hot take this year, you know what my hot take this year was, Rob?
Mm.
Hank was gonna win a freaking Heisman. He still has a chance, bro. You feed that boy the ball the next 10 weeks, okay? But just get Hank going, because when teams can stack up in the freaking box and force Malik to beat you, what are we expecting as a fan base? What are we expecting? He can't do it by himself. He's not. Malik is a great freaking quarterback, right?
He's
He's
got to
not
stop throwing off his
Superman,
back
though.
foot, but yeah, he is pretty good.
He's not Superman, and I understand having 1.5 seconds to throw the ball after you get it is not enough time to do anything. Show some mental toughness. Okay. Number two, I just talked about it. Oh, line, just give him a week time, please. Please. This is a dog defense that you're going against on Saturday. They will eat you alive. Put some points. Allow me Malik to have some time to get through some progressions to make some plays. Okay. Key number three, who wants to step up and make a play? That's what you're gonna need Saturday. You're gonna need somebody to come out and make some plays for you. Is it Hank? Is it Trent Walker, David Wells, Eddie Freoff, Bryce Caulfield? I could keep going down the roster right now if you want me to. Who's gonna do it? This game means a lot for a lot of people, right? As an Oregon State Beaver and an Oregon Duck player, this game right now probably does not have the same horsepower that it did many years ago, but it is still Oregon State versus Oregon. It means something to somebody in that locker room. If it's Trent Walker, I don't know who it is. it means something to somebody. Come out and show us. Now, Rob, we could go on again like we do every week with a nice long list of worries, but
I think we
I
have the
think
same worries, man. I don't know if we can really touch on them.
I see you have two. I have three. They're pretty much the same. I'll let you just run through it real quick and I'll save everybody the time and
I mean,
day.
yeah,
But
it's our lack of hustle. That's my worry, and then the team checking out. That's the same thing as last week. That's my worry, and that's it.
and
Josh,
Oregon is quick.
yes,
They are. They got some
you
speedy
thought
dudes
that
over
Tech running
there.
back was fast. Wait till you see.
No, bro, they got some dudes. Wide receiver, running back, tight. Man, I'm scared. I'm actually really worried for the
So
mental
don't be
well-being of this
jogging
team
on the field,
afterwards.
boys.
Yeah, what Rob said. Now, score predictions. This is going to be fun, right? Because you have a score prediction listed. I don't. I
I
don't.
saw. You know, it's funny. I saw you typing it, and then you kind of deleted it, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
I've
well,
been thinking
this.
about this all day. This is I got some heat. I got some heat right here.
Okay, hey, this score prediction is brought to you by the Hannah Grace family, a nonprofit located in the Pacific Northwest in Oregon City, Oregon. Hannah Grace is a local organization that serves foster children and children facing instability through a free music program, visitation support, and more. Be on the lookout for more info on their upcoming annual fall fundraising banquet on October 11th. It's coming up at hannahgrace.org. That is HANNAHGRACE.org. Josh, buddy, I got the Ducks winning this one, running away 55-20. Now, for I don't even know what you're going to say. This is exciting. What are you going to say?
Listen, I have thought about this long and hard. And after what happened today, my tone's changed. I feel a little different about this football team. Okay. I want people to understand that not a single freaking person in this world is giving Oregon State a shot. You understand me? Not a single freaking person. I do not appreciate what Bill Rom just did to Trent Bray. I'm pissed. I hate every Oregon beat writer. I do not like a single Oregon fan talking crap about this football team. Okay. I am putting my head and neck on the line, and I'm willing to say it on this podcast. You understand me? I hope people feel the energy that I have, that I believe that Oregon State can do this. Okay. Never would have thought in a million years I would have said it, Rob, but here we are. Okay. I don't know what freaking time it is, but we are freaking Monday. We have 6 days till Beavs go down to freaking Eugene. Here it is. You ready for this? Ducks 65, Beavs 14. Let's go, baby.
Oh, he set it up for everything just to get us get killed, man. I mean,
I don't see it. I'm sorry. I listen, I will cry on Monday if this team beats Oregon. I will cry on Saturday if this team beats Oregon. We've seen it, Rob. We've seen some crazy, sick things happen in this game. And Jerry talked about it. Freaking Brian talked about it last week. Any given Saturday, it doesn't matter who you are. If you come out unprepared, someone's going to bite you eventually. Does this Oregon State team have the juice to do that? I don't know.
well, man,
Maybe.
remember in 2015, Gary Anderson's first year, they went down to Eugene. Oregon State had only won one game that year, and arguably the best game they played all year was in Eugene. They lost that game, I think, by 10. I think Ryan Nall had a big run. Victor Bolden returned a punt for a touchdown. They played with some energy. They played with some who gives a damn? Let's go out and play and have fun. That's what this team needs to have some more fun. Because when they broke the locker after halftime, there was a little team meeting on the goal line. I don't know if they do this every game or not because I don't go to all the games, but it looked like a player was in the middle of that meeting talking and it broke and everybody just kind of slowly jogged to the sideline. And I'm like, oh God, they're not going to show up and play this second half. And I need to see some life, man. Like when you watch Texas Tech play and like they're scoring, getting penalized for dancing too much, I'm like, I'd rather have that.
For
Just
sure.
go out and have some fun, boys. Like it's college football. This season means nothing. You're not playing for a conference, okay? You've already lost 3 games. You're now playing for getting better. You're playing to have fun and getting better. And if you're a senior, you're playing just for the love of football. Go out there and love football. Go out there and play hard. Go out there and just don't go through the motions. There's too much of that going on. Be the difference. Be the guy who sticks out. That's what Oregon State needs right now. We need a guy to be like, ooh, nice. Like, let's go. Let's work off that. That's what we need. And it's needed so badly right now. It really is. But you mentioned Bill Orm's article, okay? It basically said that, Trent Bray should be fired. Like right now. Oregon State has the control to fire a guy and they should just do it right now. And I say no. That's pretty dumb. I don't think they should do that right now. And again, we talked about this. I've questioned about Trent Bray too, but at the end of the day, man, I'm in his corner. Okay, Trent Bray's a beeve. Is he a defensive coordinator? Yes. Okay, I'm still in his corner. And yeah, things are not looking that great right now. It seems like they're getting worse week to week, honestly. But I'm still in that guy's corner. I want him to do well so bad. I want him to stick it out. I want him to be a winner here because that would mean that he's forever a legend for doing what he did. I want him to do well so bad, dude. I feel so terrible for him and like him answering these questions today. Like, do you like being a head coach? It's just like,
Do you think you're the right fit? Wait, who asked that question, dude? Like, are you
come on,
serious?
man.
What are you
Like,
doing to them?
what's the point of asking that question? You're just trying to stir the pot. I know that's what Bill does. That's what his side of the spectrum does for writing. They want to stir the pot and they want people to read it. But you know what? There is a guy from Texas Tech. His name, I believe, is T. Beatles. I'm pulling up on my phone right now. He writes for Red Raider Sports, and it's just like a fan blog. But a lot of Red Raider fans love him. Okay, they think he's a good X's and O's guy and like really understands the game. He says, might sound weird to say after a blowout like that, but I actually came away impressed with Oregon State. They had a sensible plan, ran a solid offensive scheme, didn't beat themselves, which I disagree with that. They did beat themselves, and generally put guys in the right spots. The problem? Their roster had no business being on the same field as Texas Tech. Honestly, that's a pretty fun place for Tech to be. With that said, I want to dive into things that stood out. Oregon State's defensive game plan, a great play design for the tight ends, and some concerns in the run game for Texas Tech. Okay, look at Texas Tech's perspective. They're one of their most esteemed, blog writers comes away being like Oregon State had a pretty good game plan, and that's good to hear, honestly. And again, I'll say it again: 3 plays in that game when they had them backed way up. If those things go well, it's a little bit of a different game. You don't win the game, no, you don't, but you compete. They need to just when the things are going bad for the other side, they need to press. Okay, don't fall back. Oh, it's a screen. Everyone runs a screen on 3rd and 26. Someone else will get them. Uh-oh, they have 6 blockers and we have 3 defenders over there. Maybe I should hustle over there. It's like that. Let's go. Let's run around. Let's play with some grit, some toughness, some fire, dude. I need that. And Bill Orm doesn't understand that from a football perspective. He's never played football. All he does is watch it on TV and then go question a coach who's played football for many years and coached it for many years. I don't think Bill Orm knows what he's talking about. I don't. If he was in charge, I think he'd be the biggest idiot in sports. Okay, what UCLA and Virginia Tech did is impossible to come back from. You will not have a good season. You will not have a next good couple of years because your players can now officially be in the portal and not play the rest of the season. That is not what Oregon State wants right now. Not at all, guys. We have to hang in there. Josh, buddy, we talked about the schedule before and like how the records line up for these first 5 teams. But look at this. Houston's going to be tough. We know that. App State is 2-1. They could be 2-2 going into that Oregon State game. Yes, we have to fly to Carolina, but App State is definitely not a big time opponent. Oregon State can line up against them. Wake Forest is 2-1. They have a bad head coach. We know about Jake Dickert. They could be 3-2 when they come to Corvallis, okay? And they're not that good of a team either. Okay, Lafayette is a bad FCS team. Wazoo is 2-1. They just lost 59-10 to North Texas. Who would you rather be? Lose big to a Texas Tech program that spends $40 million on an NIL or lose by 49 to North Texas? Who would you rather be in that situation, Josh? I mean, like,
It's a
Wazoo could be,
simple answer.
yeah, Wazoo could be 4-4 by the time they come to Corvallis the first time, okay? That's a winnable game. Sam Houston is 0-3. They are dog shit. They're so bad. They're going to be like maybe 1-7 when they come to Corvallis. Tulsa, they're 1-2. They could be 2-7 or 1-8 when we go to Tulsa. And then again, Wazoo after that could be 5-6 or 6-6. It gets better after Houston. I think at this point the expectation should be 5-7. Okay, if you can get out of this with 5 wins, I think they turn the ship around pretty good. But if you only get 4 wins, I think then you can maybe have proper questions about the coaching staff, okay? And I do think, again, Trent Bray will make changes on this coaching staff in this season when the bye week hits. I think he will. But beyond that, coordinators, like who does he want really running the ship here? Does he want to like actually run the defense while being a head coach? That's going to be a question in the offseason, 100%. So we just got to stick together, y'all. It's this Saturday's going to be bad. It's going to be really, really bad. It's going to be so ugly. And I'll be at a party for a housewarming thing, a bunch of UT fans, and and the guy's really nice. He's going to be like, "Do you want me to put on the Oregon State game?" I'm going to tell him you don't have to. Okay, I'll check it
Oh,
on my
yes, you
phone.
do. No, do it. Do it.
But
Don't be.
like, I don't
We're not
want.
that fan base anymore.
I know, but like, I'm around a bunch of UT fans, and you don't know how it like. It's worse than being around Oregon fans. It's a when UT watches a school like Oregon State play football, everyone goes like, "Oh, they're really bad." Like they say that a lot, and
We
I'm just
already
like,
know that.
yeah, I know, but like, I don't need to hear it. And like, a couple of Texas Tech fans, like when I was leaving the stadium, they're just like, "Ah, 0-3." I'm like, cool.
Hey, 0-4 next
Yeah, I'm
week.
like, that's what I was like. Yeah, we're going 0-5. What do you think this is, bro? Like, you know what? I'm still gonna be here, okay? And you
Yeah,
won't
go
be.
Bees.
When Texas Tech, when they were bad and they would finish 6-7 every year, when you had Patrick Mahomes, where were you? You know, so, we got to stick together, y'all. That's again, I'm preaching the same thing as last week, and I'm in Trent Bray's corner, man. I'm not calling for his head. There's a lot of questions about him for sure, but I'm gonna stick by him. I think he's a great human being for what he's doing for Oregon State football. I think he's trying his best. I do. I don't think he's purposely trying to run this thing into the ground. He's just got to find the culture fit, man. He's got to remold it, and we'll go from there. But it gets easier, y'all. Josh, any last words, man, before we get into the Civil War week officially? It's always FTD, but it's tough right now.
First off, I just want to thank whoever's listening to it and made it this far,
Yeah,
right?
you're the best.
Chainsaw Crew OGs, you guys, we appreciate you. You are the life support that makes this pod keep going each and every week, right? You guys know where to find us. We're on X, we're on TikTok now at Chainsaw Crew. Go give us a follow, 5 stars, you guys. It means so much, especially when we're in the dumps like this. Like it's not. I told Rob on Saturday, I'm like, man, I don't know how to do a podcast right now because it just sucks. Like it just sucks. But I love coming on here. I love talking about this program. I love talking about the university, and it makes our life a lot easier when we have guys like Jerry Allen coming on, right? It's
Yeah, dude.
just world class guy at a freaking at every level. So thank you guys for making it this far. We appreciate you. It's officially Civil War week. We survived another episode of the podcast with our heads still on. So I look forward to just see some improvement, right? I don't expect this game to be close by any means, but if it's competitive for a little while, sweet. If we're coming back, we're saying, hey, this defense was able to get some pressure on Dante Moore, and I think we're seeing some improvement because we saw that last week, right? Just each week get better and better in some capacity.
We didn't even say they made 2 extra points.
Yeah, well, we take it for granted,
They
Rob.
missed a
How
field goal,
dare
but
we?
they made
How
two extra
dare
points.
we not say that? Gosh dang it. We're we're cutting out the little things in life right now.
I
So
forgot to mention too, sitting in the crowd, and when we first punted the first possession, and they saw how we lined up, every because I was the only Beaver fan with my buddy Travis in the section, and he's wearing black, so he kind of blends in. But everybody turned and looked at me like, "What are y'all doing?" And I had to be like, "Look, okay, our long snapper broke his hand. Our backup has the yips. Okay, that's our center snapping the ball." And they're like, "That's bad." And I'm like,
yeah.
what are you gonna do about it? I just
Yeah,
sit here
it's
and
just what it
watch.
is, man. Yeah, we're just here for it. We're here for the punishment that we take each and every week. But I'll close it with this, man. It's go Beefs. It's gonna be go Beefs till I die. Nothing's gonna
Always.
change that. 1 0 and 12, 0 and 11, 1 and 11, 2 and whatever it is. I don't care, man. I'm coming back next year. I'm gonna root on this football team. It's just nothing's gonna change that. Okay. Like I said earlier, I'm sorry, Bray. That was how dare I jump to conclusions early on, and I apologize to him for that. So I'm sorry for what we're going to see on Saturday, but just give us a light that we can actually see at the end of the tunnel going forward because you have some winnable games here. There's no reason to wave that white flag yet, and there's no reason to throw a red flag up with concern. Now, if we get through the next handful of weeks and we're not throwing doves on the schedule, then maybe panic time is officially here, but let's just get through the next few weeks. Let's enjoy some lovely Oregon State football this week and next week, and hopefully it's all up from here, boys and girls.
Hey man, as always and forever, go Beavs. Thanks for listening. Stick through it. We got it, boys. Just stay with us, okay? Just stay in the fight, boys. Come on, don't give up.